My grandfather is one of the top criminal defense attorneys in Florida. So I've heard him tell some pretty wild stories, but the best one is when he defended himself against a racist cop. My grandfather is a white man. He does not tan like a white man. Between his dark hair and his features, one day at the beach is all it takes for my papa to look Hispanic as fuck. He did not come from money, so when he became a successful attorney, he was very excited when he was able to buy his first nice car. When he was able to do so, he bought himself a very nice Mercedes. One day he was out gardening in the yard with my grandmother, browned by the sun, covered in dirt, and dressed in like dirty gardening clothes. But he got a very urgent call from a client, had to deliver something quickly. So he's on the highway and he's definitely speeding and he gets pulled over. Now it's important to know that my papa worked as a cop to put himself through law school. So when the cop pulled him over, my papa was honest and apologetic. Like, officer, I'm so sorry. I was definitely speeding. I had a deadline. I wasn't paying attention. I'm so sorry. I know you're just doing your job. And this cop takes one look at him and goes, "Sir, whose car is this?" And my papa was like, "My car." And the cop is like, "Oh, you're telling me you didn't steal this car?" My papa's like, "Here's my license and registration. The names f***ing match." So yeah, and the cop looks over everything and he goes back to his car and he comes back and he's berating my grandfather. And my papa's like, "Sir, I was a cop at your precinct. Doesn't put me above the law, but I'm being super cooperative. The f*** is your problem?" But this cop is on a hard power trip, gives him a whole spiel about his behavior, yada, yada, yada. And finally he finishes. And my papa goes, "I just have one question. Are you done?" And the cop like stares him down and goes, "Yeah, I'm done." And my papa grabs his shit back and goes, "You're a f***ing rookie," and speeds off. So instead of just paying the ticket, my grandfather files a bunch of continuations. So by the time it rolls around to court, it's been months. And my grandfather is no longer tan, wearing his nicest suit, and he walks into the courtroom. And he sees the cop that wrote him the ticket. And he walks right up to him. And he goes, "Hello, officer. I've been hired to represent Mr. Smith. I was just wondering, is there any way we can resolve this before the trial starts? Just to save everybody time." And the cop looks him dead in the eye and then looks down at his notes. And he flips through them and he goes, "Oh, no. This guy was a piece of work. We're definitely going to go before the judge on this one." And my papa, realizing this guy does not recognize him one iota, plays into it even harder and goes, "Okay, I totally understand, but I've only spoken to Mr. Smith on the phone, so I don't know what he looks like. If you see him enter the courtroom, will you just kind of flag me down and let me know so I can confer with my client before we go before the judge?" And the cop is like, "Yeah, absolutely." My papa also knows the judge. So his case number gets called. And the arresting officer walk up to the front of the courtroom. And as he's walking, my papa's trying to like wink at the judge. And the judge is looking at my papa like, "The f*** is wrong with your face?" They get to the stand. And my papa is like, "Your Honor, I'm here representing Mr. Smith, but I don't see my client in the courtroom today. Would you mind asking the officer to identify him?" And the judge is like, he's like, "Can you point out Mr. Smith in the courtroom today?" And the officer looks around and he's like, "Your Honor, I don't think he showed up for court today." And my papa says, "Motion to dismiss." And the judge is like, "Motion granted." And the cop loses his shit. He's like, "What do you mean dismissed? This guy doesn't show up for court and he gets off the hook?" So there's this little thing in law. If you're a witness, but you can't identify someone, your credibility goes to zero. Even if you're a cop. The judge looks at Officer Dipshit and goes, "Meet Mr. Smith." And my papa leans in and real quiet goes, "Told you you were a f***ing rookie," and walks out of the courtroom. And people wonder where I get my sass.